Welcome to the Pay Per Caller Show, brought to you by Ringba.
What's up, everybody? Adam Young here with another episode of the Pay Per Caller Show. And in this episode, I want to talk to you about documenting your journey as you build a business. And I don't think enough people do this, and I don't think they realize the value in documenting their own journey as they go through the process. I think that the most obvious benefit is you can help other people by having them follow your journey and learn from your mistakes. They are able to accelerate their progress faster. And that, to me, brings me a lot of joy and fulfillment, which is why I'm documenting my process and doing my best to teach others so they can grow their businesses. It's really fulfilling to do that. And also, as you document the process, you learn the materials better, you understand your own journey better, you think about your mistakes more clearly because you're talking about them and you're writing about them and you're sitting down and critically thinking about what you're working on. And so it has a really amazing self-reflective process that goes on in the background in your mind as you document your own journey. And it really helps you become better at what you're doing because it forces you to look at yourself through that lens, look at yourself in a fishbowl, right? And understand what you are doing right, what you're doing wrong, what you can do better, what you can learn from, and what you can teach others. And so teaching others is such a super powerful thing. It really helps you understand what you're doing better. And it's actually a very self-serving process because it helps you become much better at what you do. And I'll admit it fully, I love teaching. I did my masterclass. I wrote my book. I do all sorts of videos. I host podcasts. You're listening to one right now. And this really helps me think about what I'm doing, why it's important, how it impacts other people, and how I can do it better every single time because I'm putting myself out there. It also builds a ton of trust with the people who follow me because they know that I'm putting myself out there, I'm an expert at what I do, I'm willing to talk about what I'm doing, I'm very accessible, and so it's just an amazing thing to do. There's only benefits to do it, and I highly recommend that regardless of where you're at in your journey, you just simply start documenting what you are doing. And I don't mean that later or a week or think about it. I mean start doing it right now. How can you document your journey in business no matter what? Part-time, full-time, as an employed person, as an entrepreneur, doesn't matter. How can you do it? And then start right now. Now, the most important thing or the best side effect outside of the fulfillment you'll get from documenting your journey is that you're building credibility. You're building credibility not only with yourself, with the people you do business with, but the entire industry that you operate in. And the reason for that is because you are showing people that you are serious about what you're doing, serious enough to put your face and name behind it and put it out there on the internet, which takes guts. Most people aren't willing to do that. And that's why when you do it, people give you credibility and trust, even if you're not great at it. And I promise you, if you just start, you will get better every single time. My first episode coming back to the Pay Per Caller Show is not as good as I hoped it would be. I learned a bunch of stuff about what I was doing, how to present my notes better, how to take a better outline, how to adjust the camera angles. I'm getting a little bit better at lighting in the studio, and I'm going to keep improving every single episode until I get it exactly the way I want it. And people are going to be able to see that progression over time, and they're going to go, whoa, Adam takes himself seriously. Adam does what he says he's going to do. He likes to improve. I can trust this man with my business. And then they're willing to do business with me. And that is the biggest side effect for business about documenting your journey is it builds that credibility and trust with your audience. It also allows people to follow your journey and want to interact with you. And so not only does it build trust with them, but they will reach out and help you when you ask them for help. And that's really an amazing experience as well. If you provide value to somebody else and they follow you and they learn from you, when you need something, you can simply ask for it. And a lot of the times people will reach out and they'd be willing to help. And I have no shame when it comes to asking for help. I make mistakes all the time, and I like asking for help because that's how I learn from other people. And it's really cool having a great audience of people because they will reach out and help me whenever I need it. And the perfect example of this is my Inner Circle and Mastermind group. I love those people. And generally, it's me trying to add value to their businesses. But with my book that just came out, I've started to create advertisements for it so that I can get it to more people. And I realized, holy cow, all these people in my mastermind group and Inner Circle spend hundreds of millions of dollars a year on advertising on all different platforms. And so I could just simply reach out to them and ask them for help and show them what I'm doing and ask them for suggestions for ads. And every single one of them replied to me and said, yeah, Adam, I think this is good. This is bad. Here's how you can improve this. Here are some angles you can try. Let me send you a scratch file of folders of ads of people that do books because I used to do books. And that was crazy to me. And so I just started asking more people for help, and more people are helping me. And all of that came from me documenting my journey, meeting people in the industry, and trying my best to help them with their business. And one of the other things that happens when you document your journey is people try and connect with you. And so I get stopped all the time at trade shows. People tell me that they listen to my various podcasts, that they've gone through my masterclass, that they use Ringba, that they've connected with me on a forum somewhere, that they've seen me somewhere, that they watched one of my stage presentations or keynote addresses or whatever it may be, and they want to create a new connection with me. And so I get to meet them. I get to talk to them. They reach out to me. And that helps me grow my business because they'll want to do business with me if they ever get into pay-per-call. And so by documenting my journey and putting myself out there, it creates new business connections. Also, when people put out really good content and people read that content, when you cold call someone, it may surprise you. It may surprise you that someone has actually watched what you have put out there and learned from it. And they're like, oh, hey, I saw your blog, or oh, hey, I saw you post on Facebook. I really liked your thing. I would be more than happy to talk to you about doing business because they realize that you're putting yourself out there, and that builds that trust and credibility. And this is why it's really important to take your online image seriously. And if you have things out there that are political in nature or maybe aren't representative of you in business, you want to remove that type of thing, and you want to make sure that you're presenting yourself to a wide of audience as possible on the internet, and you're taking your online image seriously and promoting it well. All your contact information works. You're going to want to put that everywhere, right? Like you're going to want to put your contact information on your blog. You're going to want people to subscribe to your newsletter. You're going to want people to be able to contact you. You have your Skype handle out there, have your email address, your phone number. Because if someone reads something you do as you're documenting your journey and wants to talk to you about potentially doing business, you want them to be able to contact you, right? And so that's literally why at the end of every single episode, I drop all my social media handles because I want you to reach out to me. And I respond to all those requests. And so if I can respond, most people will respond, and you should too. And it's a great way to connect with people in the industry. So regardless of where you're at in documenting your journey, I think the more places you can document it, the better. And so start with a blog and commit to writing every single day. Maybe it's not a gigantic guide or a huge piece of content every day, but checking in with your readers every day. And so what are you going to write? Like, how do you come up with that content? And that content is very taxing to write if you're simply not documenting what you're doing. And if you're documenting what you're doing, however, the content writes itself. And so a great way to do this would be if I were writing a blog post, I would say, today I was working on Ringba. I sat down and wrote a bunch of outlines for my podcast, which I've committed to recording content for on a daily basis. I changed the order of the bullets that I was using, reduced the amount of text. I changed my screen presentation of my notes so that it was on 2 different panes instead of having to scroll. You'll notice in the first couple episodes that I was actually scrolling a little bit, and I didn't like that. I changed the power settings on my laptop so that the screen didn't go blank. And I really sat down and was a lot more thoughtful about the content that I wanted to put out and why. I also sat down and laid out the first 50 episodes of my podcast, which I'll probably change the order on. But I really wanted to make sure I was telling a cohesive story that was useful to the listeners of the podcast as I move down episode by episode through that list and dive deeper and deeper into pay-per-call and leadership and how to grow teams and why this stuff is important. I also wanted to make sure I was taking care of my health, which is one of my goals this year. And so I went to hot Pilates. It was 105 degrees, and I spent an hour doing just brutal Pilates with 29 other people because health is really important to me this year. And then I went through some editing on my book. We're doing some huge printing runs, and I was negotiating with printing companies, and I learned a whole bunch about that. And I would dive into details if it mattered on this pod, but it doesn't. And so, but this is the gist, right? Like, I am simply just talking about what I did today and what I am learning as I'm going through that process. And so I don't have to think about content I'm going to write like I'm doing when I'm laying out the podcast. I'm just talking about what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. And that could be simple as being frustrated about Facebook ads went down yesterday, or having to deal with your creative team and some of the workflow changes you're making, and just talking about your process and being vulnerable about the lessons you're learning, because that's the kind of content that people want to read, listen to, and follow. And so if you're doing that, it doesn't take a lot of additional effort. You just have to sit down and talk about what you did on a daily basis. Now, as you get deeper into the industry, or if you're already very deep into the industry, you're going to be working on things that you can create into guides. And I love guides. I love case studies. I love that type of material. I love telling stories. And so guides are amazing, and they just add another level of credibility to your persona when you post them. And so I would be going, what can I take from my daily entries and expand upon in my free time to write an actual guide for people? And then I'm going to post that guide to my blog. I'm going to post that guide to forums. I'm going to post that guide, links to that guide in Facebook and Skype and Telegram and LinkedIn groups, right? I'm going to be like building my reputation and credibility. And then at the end of every single guide, I'm going to tell people, hey, this is the business I'm working on, and these are the types of people that I want to do business with. And so if that's you, reach out to me at these social media handles, or call me or email me or whatever it is. And so as people consume your content and build trust with you, you're going to be automatically finding opportunities to do business. It's like an autopilot for your business development. And so it's also going to teach you more about editing and writing and getting more comfortable on camera if you're willing to go this far. And those skills are invaluable in business. They allow you to connect with more people and connect with them better and create better relationships. Another thing I would do is I would create top 10 lists or top 5 lists, like on a weekly basis. What are the top 10 things I learned this week? What are the top 5 lessons I learned this week? And then I'm going to post those on my blog and share them on forums and share them on social media, and give people simple, digestible content that they can also learn from. And you're not spending nearly as much time with a top 10 list or a top 5 list as you are a guide. And so that allows you to put out content quicker if you're having a really busy day, or you're not able to get into a guide. And I know some people really take their image seriously and work for weeks or a month on a guide, and they want to do a really great job. And so a top list is a great way to get content out more regularly and communicate with your audiences easier and faster without having a huge editorial process. And again, anytime I'm putting out a piece of content, I'm going to want to put that out on social media, on all the channels, and ask people to follow me so that I can communicate with them more. I'm going to want to build an audience. And as you build an audience and it grows, you gain credibility. And again, this is like a self-repeating flywheel that helps you build your business over time. And something that I want to point out here is you do not get the results right away. And you can see that in my case, based on this podcast, from the results we got 5 years ago, right? Like, people watch the podcast. They took my class 5 years ago. Some people still take it today and just get started in the industry years later. But my point is that I might not see a return on investment right away, but I see a huge return on investment on this over a long period of time. And it's something that you should be doing. Now, I'm going to be posting, if I were you, I'm going to be posting my content on blogs. I'm going to be syndicating it on forums and in social media groups. And I'm also going to post it on a YouTube channel if I'm going to do video content. And I'm going to break apart these pieces of content, put teasers in my social media, and then get it out to my followers so that they can land on my blog, that they can interact with my content. And I think the reality here is I think this is so important that I'm willing to stand behind it. So if you're willing to document your journey in pay-per-call, even if you're starting out on day one, or if you're an employee at a pay-per-call network, I don't even care if you do business with Ringba or not, or you're just somehow involved in the industry and you're willing to document your journey of pay-per-call, reach out to me at marketing@ringba.com. Send me a description of your background, or if you've already put some content out there, send me that, or send me a plan on what you're going to do. Send me your social media handles so I know who you are and can take a look into what you're doing. And I don't care about how new you are, again, in the industry, but if you're willing to document your process, I might be willing to sponsor what you're doing and help you along the way. Maybe you're like brand new and there's not a lot of meat on that bone. Maybe we can come up with something unique. But if you're willing to post on a blog consistently and post on social media as you document your pay-per-call journey, I am willing to get involved and to sponsor it at a level that's reasonable with where you're at. And as it grows, we can always change that, but I'm looking to help more people grow their business, and I know this will work for you. So if you'll do it, I'll get involved. Reach out to me again at marketing@ringba.com. And so if you want to learn more about pay-per-call and you want to understand how some of our customers are achieving incredible results, like selling their company for $50 million in cash to a public company, you need to read my book, The Pay-Per-Call Revolution. And I am so confident that this book will help you in your journey. I'm willing to send it to you absolutely free. I only ask that you pay shipping and handling, which is a small fee. It's like buying a coffee at Starbucks or something. And this book will change your life. Just simply find the link that's around this video or go to papercallrevolution.com and order your free copy of the book. Again, I just ask that you pay for shipping and handling. And also, feel free to follow me on social media. Let me know if you want me to talk about anything specific related to pay-per-call. You can find me on Instagram or TikTok at Adam Young, on Twitter at Arbitrage, or on YouTube /Adam Young. And I would really appreciate it if you would follow me on social media, like this content, follow, subscribe, whatever. You know what I'm asking for. But the reason why I am asking is so that I can reach more entrepreneurs, more digital marketers, and more people to help them grow their business and provide a better future for their family. So that's my mission. So if you'd help me with that by doing something so simple like following, and subscribing, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening.